Alright, Diablo 4 players, Season 8 from the PTR. What have we learned? What's the best class? I get asked this quite frequently after the PTR has ended. I've been kind of scavenging around looking for the top tier builds and what can actually push for the highest build. So let's kick it off with the current build that has actually pushed the highest, which is actually 120 on the Sorceress. So let me go and show you guys just some sort of gameplay so you guys can also kind of get an idea on kind of how the build actually plays. So this one's all about specifically evade. We've actually got the build guide uploaded already, but there's going to be a few different areas for maybe improvements and or different things that you can run here. So this one's all based around the Andariel's ability to actually get this laser that shoots out. There is also an evade build, which I'll be honest, I think that one's going to be much more popular, as this one's kind of hard to play, but the idea is almost the same. You're kind of evading. Now this one's using the teleport for a different reason, because this way you can continuously get that like laser and kind of reposition it, but every single build, guys, is going to be based around these brand new boss powers. The skills that your characters use don't really deal the damage. It's all based around getting some sort of multiplier. The Sorc can get it based off of burn. If you go into the key passive over here, we have combustion. So you really need to start scaling these boss powers. Or if you look at, let's say, the rogue, you have this damage too close. These are the main things that you want to focus in on specifically in the next season. And this is just covering the best builds. I'm not going to go over like the top 10 builds of Sorc. We're just pretty much looking at like the uber S tier ones for the season. So currently the Sorc has technically pushed the highest, and you guys are seeing gameplay of pretty much the same concept over here. It's kind of using this evade, and I think that this is going to be the fan favorite variant of it. You can either play with ball lightning, or you can actually play with just fire bolt, and it gives you a multiplier, and then your evade does basically all of the damage. Fantastic build, and you can easily do a pit 100 if you want to, if that's like your main goal, because not everything will be able to clear pit 100 very smooth in Season 8. But as far as the best class goes, that's going to be 100% the Sorc, no doubt about it. Now, next up, I want to show you guys a cool Barb build, and I'll also link these down below so you guys can check them out if you want to. Some of these will have the build guides, but I will also include some other build guides that I have already uploaded as well. But this is the ultimate barbarian. I mean, just look at those ancients. It is really cool. But again, most of the damage that you're getting from the season is going to be from the boss powers, but this is a really cool build. This is the ultimate barbarian because it's all about the ultimates. Again, this is what you want to scale, and again, all these are capable of actually doing pit 100. However, as far as going up even higher, it's pretty rough for a lot of builds to go past pit 100. And remember, in the PTR we had Paragon 300. This is pretty big because I'll be honest with you guys, most people, they get about Paragon 200, 250, and then they kind of get burnt out. The reason why Paragon 300 is important to mention is because with Season 8, your boss powers scale with your Paragon levels. So it's kind of important that you get those Paragons to be high enough. But I would say that this build is definitely capable of doing pit 100. Obviously, it's already done it, but that is like using the best gear. Your average player looking at a tier list may not be able to hit Para 300 and get everything multiple GA'd, perfect masterwork, you know, triple critting. It's kind of rough, but it's going to require you to have good gear, just like any other good build. But I just got to warn you guys, pit 100 is not as easy as Season 7, okay? Even though someone's going to be like, well, you can only do a pit 100, this is the top tier build, and it's barely able to do it like super comfortably. With godly gear, yeah, you can do it a little bit more comfortably, but I just have to warn you guys as a heads up, just so there's realistic expectations here. And okay, next up, we've got the Necromancer. This is another pit 105 clear. This is specifically using the boss power, the corruption damage. I have this build actually uploaded as well if you guys want to check that one out, but there's another one by a really good other Necro player over here, Skull M. And so this variant over here is all about using the boss power when you pop the potion. It's the brand new Belial power, and this one is fantastic as well. But I'm still going to keep this one over in the A tier as well. And the reason why is, even though it's really good, it does not do like pit 120 as far as we're aware. There's a huge difference, by the way, between like a pit 110, 120, and a 100. Like those are very, very big numbers, but I wanted to separate it by like the highest one and then mention like A tier is still definitely in the pit 100s, but it does require you to have those perfect pieces of gear. And remember, that's someone already having those things at glyphs 100 when they're showing off the gameplay. So to get to pit 100, it's going to require you to level up all those, which will be a little bit harder, considering the Sorc will have a little bit easier of a time with that. So anyways, that's where I'm going to put Necromancer over here, and I'll kind of reorder them in a moment here, but I just want to show you guys some gameplay so you guys can get an idea on what the builds kind of look like. This one is Spiritborn. It is Quill Volley, but it's all about poison in the next season, because you're going to be stacking, because there's another like multiplier with Noxious Resonance, and basically your goal is to group up the enemies, and then you could throw the Quill. I think this one has a lot of potential. There's also like an Endariel's variant. I've been kind of messing around with both. Honestly, I would say it's probably better just to scale the boss power, but if you're looking for like fast, like T4, like open world content, because you need all of these things to level up your boss powers as well, then the Endariel's one is a little bit better, but you guys can see the gameplay over here. It plays pretty much like the same Spiritborn build that we've been playing, which is Quill Volley. So if you've enjoyed Quill Volley, hey, you can play it again. It's just, again, the boss powers is going to be Ashava's Poison, but this one is fantastic as well. Definitely great because, again, you can scale that Noxious Resonance. Barb is good because, well, you get those double two-handed aspects, right? But I'll kind of reorder these in a moment here. But yeah, if you like the Quill Volley playstyle, it is Quill Volley once again. Now, the next one up over here, I'm going to be honest, this one I would put kind of in the later stages. Unfortunately, with some of the newer Druid stuff, it's just not nearly as good as some of the other classes, but this is all about spamming your ultimate again and again. You could spam your ultimate probably faster than most classes. However, there isn't a great scaler for this one, so I'm going to put this one, it is capable again of doing pit 100, but when you compare it to the other classes, it is definitely farther behind. So I'm going to put this one, I'm still going to say that it's A tier because it can do pit 100, because there's a lot of builds that like simply can't, but I want to focus in on, again, mainly the good builds over here. Now, as far as the Rogue goes, it's very similar to the Necromancer one. However, I actually really like Rogue in terms of like the class variety. And so one reason why I really like the class variety with Rogue in the season is because you have the ability to scale this close quarters combat, which is all this like damage to close bonus. So you can get your damage to close, so you get all the bonuses. But then on top of that, one thing that is very, very nice with the Rogue is that you are able to play a lot of the different boss powers. You kind of get more bang for your buck if you do play the Rogue. So even though I want to focus mainly on like what can push in the pit the highest, I would say Rogue is kind of the class I would recommend, because when people are looking at tier lists, I get asked all the time, like, what's my recommendations? If you're just looking at pushing for the highest pit number, like you want to stick it to the refrigerator so you can show your mom, that Sorceress is your absolute choice. Now, I also want to mention that there is a new Ice Shards build. That build is very fun. Now, if you scale the boss powers to do like the burn, you can push like 100 with it, but if we're looking at like the Ice Shards to deal the damage, man, I'll be real with you guys, it ain't looking too hot. Now, the Rogue also has another build, because now that we went over like the top tier stuff, I'll go over kind of some of the newer stuff that we've tested out. So the Rogue has this new trap build. It don't work. It's bugged. It don't work. The Necromancer one is the Blade of Zir. I was super excited because you get the exploding minions, and you get this brand new two-handed unique. Oh man, it's rough. It's like a do not play, skip Reno. But there's also good feedback from Blizzard, so they can understand. I've already told Blizzard about this as a Diablo partner. But if you guys watch this, buff the Blade of Zir needs almost a rework in its itemization, because the Scythe is more of like the summoning thing, and you made a two-handed sword. It doesn't really make sense from like the class fantasy and like the identity of what you guys have built into the game for Scythe. That's supposed to be for summons, right? It makes more sense for the Necromancer to be like, you know, having could be the Blade of Zir Scythe edition or something. But basically, it needs so much work. Like the damage on that does not deal any damage with Army of the Dead. And it's weird because you sacrifice a lot of your minions to get the bonuses, so your stuff becomes stronger. But yeah, it just simply does not do the damage. All the damage came from the boss powers, and at that point, you might as well just play like the Belial Consume Potion or the Exploding Blood Wave. That's another option. If you guys like to do the Blood Wave variant, you could still play Blood Wave, but again, the boss power kind of overshadows it. However, the Blood Wave can actually scale to be pretty good as well. So you could almost kind of like double dip, kind of do half and half, and then you get some like cool explosions and the Blood Wave comes out. It's cool. So there's a little bit of play with that. But I would say, as far as recommendations go, the reason why I'm putting Rogue in the top, the A tier here, is because specifically you can play whatever boss power you want. It is the most fun. It's the most versatile class because you can scale everything. Whereas Necromancer, you have to scale the corruption damage. technically you play Blood Wave as well, but the corruption damage must be scaled. If you really want that like top tier build, that's what we got to go for. With Spiritborn, it's interesting because everything that you're doing is all about the poison. So you can just apply the poison with any of your attacks. You just convert your thing to Centipede. So Spiritborn, actually, you can play almost anything. I recommend a core skill because then you can teleport. It feels much better to do so. But Spiritborn, it does have a lot of flexibility with what it can do. Now, unfortunately, I'm going to put Barb and Druid towards like the bottom of the barrel here. The new Barb thing is kind of cool. It can do pretty good damage, honestly, if you want to do like the weapon throw variant, but it's heavily reliant on a cooldown, and you have to scale cooldown, which doesn't even scale cooldown, it scales into damage with it. So as far as like the Whirlwind goes, I did not see any top tier Whirlwind builds, and they really wanted to focus in on that, so hopefully they can bump that up. But as far as it goes right now, it's an ultimate build, which you're spamming your ultimate, which is similar to basically how the Druid plays. But the reason why I'm going to put the Barb up a little higher is at least I felt like their new playstyle was a little bit better what the Druid had, because the Cataclysm Druid, oh man, it's kind of sad. They kind of gutted it. If you were like a fan of the Cataclysm Druid, like myself in Season 7, very fun build. It's literally a walking simulator. You delete stuff. Yeah, I mean, you could probably do pit 65, but like, you know, most people want to go higher than that. They want to level up their glyphs, and because you can no longer overpower, man, that build is just... It's not what it used to be, for sure. So as far as it goes, it's pretty much the same thing as far as like the tier list goes, but I want to give you guys also a quick leveling one. So if I was to put these classes as far as leveling goes, the Rogue, this is for leveling, okay? Because remember, Season 8, everything is slowed down. We get less loot, less legendaries, less aspects. You run the Rogue, you throw in Dance of Knives, you throw in the Shadow Imbue, and you hold down one button. It's the smoothest playstyle. Nothing even comes close to it. It's just miles ahead of every single class. Spiritborn is kind of nice because you get that 100% vulnerability, which I can't say the same with every class. Remember, you don't get these boss powers like super early on. You have to kill the tormented bosses. I would say, as far as what classes, like what's a good class to start out with, because you may want to consider that, you know, because you can level up literally way faster, and remember, leveling is a little bit slower. Honestly, for the blasters, it'll take you maybe another hour to level instead of maybe 2 or 3 hours. It may take you 4 or 5, depending on your playstyle and the class that you play. But for the most part, don't worry about that too much. But getting less loot does feel bad, so it really depends on what drops for your character too. This is kind of a bigger thing because not every single dungeon that you do gives you that aspect. But like overall, I want to go ahead and say that Rogue is by a long shot the best in terms of the leveling experience. But as far as like the other things, I think these 3 classes, because you can start scaling the like multipliers a lot better. Barb is a lot better as well. But I like personally Rogue the most as far as my class recommendation. If you were to ask me, I personally say Rogue is the best for my recommendation for you guys, because you get more bang for your buck, because I like to play more than one build this season. And so if you are really interested in doing that, because remember, the drops are a lot less this season, so getting those max rolled aspects can be kind of harder. And if you want the best build, I would say the Sorc. But that's going to be my current tier list, and to answer your guys' question, that's what we're looking at from the PTR as far as it goes right now. And if you guys want some of the builds, I have a lot of these builds already uploaded, ready for you guys with a full guide on how to play them. If things do change, more than likely we'll see the Ice Shards get a buff. The Blade of Zir needs almost a complete rework, or they can crank up the number, throw in a Diablo 3, 10,000% damage, and then maybe the build can be good. But I would say that that one is definitely not getting nerfed. But I would say that the Sorc Evade variant, or the boss powers in general, since they currently overshadow most of the skills in the game right now, we may see some nerfs, and that may adjust the list. But this way, Blizzard knows kind of what is the top tier things to look at, and maybe what certain things need a buff. Also, as far as Spiritborn goes, as far as like the little Righteous Fire thing, I felt like it was very clunky to play. Didn't see really good damage numbers with it. Most of it was like the boss thing. So if you're like, is that build good? I didn't really see anything crazy with it. Again, you're just scaling boss. That's every build in the whole season is all based around the boss powers, which I think is not a bad thing, by the way, because, you know, that way we have almost a new skill to play with, because, well, we haven't gotten a new skill since the expansion. But that's gonna wrap things up. If you guys enjoyed the video, drop a like on it. If there are any other higher tier push builds, let me know down below, and I will update this video, because I had to basically search in the YouTube search, because there's no like official Pit Season 8 like leaderboard. So I was browsing, there's like Billy videos too, which I'm not gonna include, because like the quality of that website, and also YouTube doesn't like linking to other places as far as it goes. But basically, these are like some of the top ones that I've seen. If there are higher pit pushings that I have not seen, like maybe a Barb did at 130, hey, link it down below, or just let me know what channel it's on, and I will update this list. But I had to basically do most of this manually. But nonetheless, those are the classes as far as the tier list goes. Basically, Sorc on top. The rest, hey, you can play what you want to. It's gonna take some time. It's not gonna be a super smooth ride if you want to do a Pit 100 in Season 8 as far as it goes right now. But anyways, take care, Diablo players. I'll see you guys in the next video. Let me know what class you plan to play, at least as of right now. Peace out, though.